Art is an essential element for knowing the truth, or at least approaching it. Often within a work of art there is a truth that is hidden under symbols, metaphors, and allegories. Therefore it contains an enigma to be deciphered. In this video lesson, we will see some allegorical symbols hidden in some works of art, the first of which is Van Eyck, Arnolfini Spouses. So let's start reading this famous work of art by the painter Jan van Eyck. The title is The Arnolfini Spouses of 1434 and is an oil on canvas and is located in the National Gallery in London. In this painting we see a married couple in the wedding chamber. He is Giovanni Arnolfini, an Italian merchant who worked in Holland, and she is his wife Giovanna. Giovanni Arnolfini was a merchant of fabrics and furs at the Dutch court, and his hemmed overcoat alludes to it. Both characters have removed their shoes, perhaps a symbolic gesture to sanctify the domestic environment. The red color used for Giovanna's shoes and for bed linen recalls passion. The green for the effect and the blue for loyalty, and the white for the ermine for purity. On the candlestick we know that there is a single candle lit. It's a reference about the wedding candle. It was carrying in the wedding procession and then left in the bedroom until the marriage was consummated. It can also allude to the presence of Christ as the light of the world that dims all the other lights. We see on the back wall an inscription with a very elegant stroke testifying that the event depicted is authentic. It says Jan van Eyck has been here. In the mirror on the back wall we see roundels, which there are the stations of the cross, and the artist's presence reflected with another witness seem to testify to this marriage, and consequently the whole room is visible in this mirror. The expensive mirror, the fur, the other expensive household items indicate the high social status of the new couple. The dog was added at a later time, and it symbolizes fidelity. The abundant fabric that the woman curls around her belly makes she seem pregnant, and the two ends subtract a little attention from the inevitable question: she is pregnant? The candle, the image of Santa Margherita, patroness of motherhood, on the headboard on the bed, and finally the bed itself, allude to childbirth as a value proper to the sacrament of marriage, rather than a shotgun wedding. Even the clogs of Giovanni Arnolfini that we see here on the left represent the motif of conjugal fidelity, and the oranges under the window are a wish for fertility. Now we find another allegory of love in the Primavera by Sandro Botticelli, painted in 1482, and located in the Uffizi Gallery in Florence. We see in this wonderful painting various characters, various figures that symbolize and are an allegory of love. Here in the left we see Mercury shaking the clouds with the caduceus, because he has the task of revealing the mysteries of love. After him we see the three graces. They are a symbol of concordia and of a selfless love that gives everything without asking for anything in return. Above we see Cupid, who is depicted in the act of blow out the flame of the passion in the heart of one of the three graces. In the center of the painting we see Venus, that represents the virtue of humanitas, that is spiritual love capable of elevating the soul up to God and make it immortal. After we can find the image of Flora, goddess of spring, represents the union of the opposite principle of chastity, chloris, and of love, Zephyr. He is the spring wind that fertilizes the virgin chloris with the breath of passion. Now we will analyze a famous painting by Hans Holbein, The Ambassadors, which is located in the National Gallery in London. This painting of the painter Hans Holbein portrays two influential political figures of mid-16th century in London. On the left we see Jean de Tanteville, who was a French ambassador to the court of Henry VIII. On the right is depicted Georges de Selve, Bishop of Lavaur, who had gone to London in secret to deal with the complex problem of the divorce of King Henry and his second marriage and the separation from Catholic Church. The painting contains the visual key to grasp the political and religious issues to the two. Holbein depicts both Tanteville and Selve lean on the top shelf of a little cabinet, above which we see a jumble of objects relating to astronomy and celestial world. Indeed, on the left we see a celestial globe, and next it a cylindrical instrument used as sundial. Beside these two objects there are two quadrants that help navigators and astronomers measure the eye of the sun in relation to the horizon. The polygon is another kind of sundial that could be set to one certain latitude. Next to Bishop, we see a tall instrument known as torqueton, with which the astronomer could measure the position of the moon and visible planets. In the margin of the book, the inscription indicates Selve's age, 25 years. On the bottom of the shelf, there are items associated with the material world. We see music sheet, songs, mathematical calculation, and a terrestrial globe. In front of the globe, on the left, there is an arithmetic book for merchants. Another measuring instrument, the compass, we see it on the shelf behind a book by Lutheran hymns. On the far right we see a series of flutes and a lute, with one string obviously broken. Along with the items on the top shelf, these tools describe the elements of the didactic program carried out in medieval universities, known as quadrivium: music, astronomy, mathematics, and geometry. Another strange object that we see in the scene is a skull depicted in anamorphic projection. This kind of sophisticated optical effect, it was very fashionable in intellectual circles in London and in other capitals. The trick was to find the perfect point of view from which the perspective magically showed a three-dimensional skull. As well as showcasing the artist's skill, in this unusual way the skull also served as a memento mori. On the tab on the left, Holbein showed damask draperies moved to reveal a small silver crucifix. This creates a contrast between the skull below and the crucifix above, which can be a reference to the Christian faith in the redemption and an eternal life through the person of Christ. Then the shelves become the steps to heaven, with heavenly world placed above the ground. The weakness of temporal pleasures is symbolized by the broken lute. The anamorphosis of the skull once indicates to the observer the importance of a correct physical and moral point of view concerning the problem of death and redemption. The two planes of the table, which constitute the horizontal dominance of the picture, serve to differentiate the terrestrial realm, the lower shelf, and the celestial realm, the upper shelf. In the painting, the books and tools are the rational entities and artificial forms of the conceptual human world created in the image and likeness of the world of real entities and natural forms, which are the product of divine creation. What the painting represents is a network of signs that leads us to this true reality hidden in the world of appearances. Painting therefore asks us to see the invisible truth that hides behind the surface of appearances.